Hi guys, today I'm going to be building one of the smallest kits I've ever built, and one with the lowest number of parts as well. And that is this Bandai AT-M6 First Order Walker from Star Wars The Last Jedi. As you can see, the box here is absolutely tiny, and the entire kit consists of just 25 parts. The kit is so straightforward that the instructions are included on the inside of the lid, and the box doesn't specify the scale, but according to a few sources I read, it's about 1 to 550. Like all the Star Wars Bandai kits, this is a snap together fit, there is no glue required. And as with the other Bandai kits, the tolerances and the fits are excellent. These pieces are not going to fall apart even when they're just pushed together. You can see here, even though it's a very tiny kit with a small number of parts, there is an excellent amount of detail. You can see on the main body here, for example, there are some nice clear panel lines, presumably slightly out of scale, but they're going to look good. Of course, these Star Wars vehicles from the new films weren't made from kit bashing, unlike the original trilogy, so you probably won't recognise any model pieces in these, like you could with the Millennium Falcon and some of the others. All of the key points on these Bandai kits are keyed so that you can't get parts in the wrong way. Initially I held off on adding these fuel canisters because I thought they needed painted a separate colour, but I was wrong about that. And here the head on the completed body gives us about 70mm in terms of length. Each of the legs is made from one large piece like this, plus one inner piece for the lower foot. Not surprisingly, on a kit this size, you can't articulate these legs. That's a bit of a shame because it does mean you can't really have the walker posing with one foot raised, but this is a tiny kit. I really like these kind of knuckle dragging front legs on this AT-M6. And here is the built kit. This was a very straightforward build and was finished within about 1 hour. I left the head and the legs separate for painting. I gave the kit a base coat of dark grey to act as a shadow, and then a mottled coat of a lighter grey. To get some variation, I masked off a couple of panels and painted them in a slightly different shade. One thing about these Bandai kits is the plastic is very sensitive to enamel thinners. I have an old Y-wing which I made and gave an enamel wash to, and when I picked it up to move it the other day, parts literally just fell off it. The plastic goes very brittle and cracks. So with that in mind, I need to be careful with the panel liner. I still don't want to use an acrylic wash, so I'm using this enamel panel liner from Tamiya, but I'm being extremely careful with the amounts of thinner which I'm using to clean up the excess. And I'm trying to reduce the excess in the first place as well. And then finally, I thought it might be quite nice to highlight some of the edges. This is a very light grey colour, XF19. And I'm just dry brushing that onto the raised edges and the other highlighted areas. The AT-M6 made its only film appearance in The Last Jedi at the Battle of Crait, and that planet was notable for having the bright red soil underneath that salty crust. So I decided to make a small base to try to emulate that. This is cut from XPS foam, with a slither of balsa wood around the outside for a frame. I coated the top with PVA glue and then sprinkled on some very fine sand. This is out of scale to a certain extent, but it will be okay. I painted that with a white primer and then touched up any gaps with a brush. Finally, I use a dark red colour to mark the footprints where the walker has been and broken through the salt crust to the earth below. And that's a very distinctive feature in the images of this AT-M6. And here is the final result. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a really fun, quick build for me. I really enjoy building these Bandai Star Wars kits, and I wish they would bring out some of the newer vehicles as well. We've had lots of X-Wing variations, lots of TIE Fighters, a few versions of the Millennium Falcon, but it would be nice to have some more of these different vehicles as well. Before I go, let me say thank you very much for watching, and a special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, then please consider doing so. And until next time, I will leave you with some recommended videos. Thanks for watching, guys.